Okay, well, welcome everybody to usually I do this vision boarding training in the new year, but it never hurts to get going before the new year. So, thanks to everybody for really taking the time to invest into yourself. I know that this is just like a short vision boarding workshop, but any time that you take to invest into growing and just taking time for yourself isn't wasted. So, you guys should be proud of yourself that you took the time out of your busy life that I know we all have to come and join this. So, before I hit record, we kind of talked about if anybody has ever done a vision board before, and kind of across the table, I got the answers of like, meh, kind of sort of did one, just like cut stuff from a magazine. Um, and put it on there and then kind of forgot about it. Some people made like a little collage on their home screen of their phone. And I'm telling you, this vision boarding workshop is different than anyone that you have done in the past. So, whatever views or ideas or opinions that you have of vision boards, just erase them out of your mind and have a clean slate for tonight. And I'm believing that everybody is going to receive with open eyes and open ears exactly what they need to receive tonight out of this. But I will tell you, my vision boarding workshop is kind of like backwards. We don't actually get to the vision board until that's actually the last part. Um, like an iceberg, we have to have the foundation before you can see any of it on top. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. In the past, I have done this wrong. So let's hope I do it right this time. Okay, there we go. And I exited out of Canva because I was trying to fix my printer earlier today, and I actually did. So can finally use my printer again after 2 months of not having a printer. Uh, and it was literally, I had to just hit two buttons, unplug it, and plug it back in. Okay, so gonna hit present here. There we go. Okay, can everybody see the cute little picture of me? This was me when I was like about, I think, 6 years old. Um, but I want to let you guys know that tonight is all about you. How exciting. We give so much of ourselves to other people throughout the day. So I'm so excited that I just get to help pour into you guys today. Hello, Melissa. So the dreams that you have stirring in your heart, the visions that you carry for your life, and the steps that will take you there. I want you to know that you were created with purpose and that there's no dream too big or too bold for the God that placed it within your heart. So, like I just said a minute ago, as women, we often carry so many responsibilities and expectations and even self-doubt. But today, I want to challenge you to set all of that aside. Let yourself dream without limits. I've been reading a book recently called Unseen. And he talks about there's a part in it about like co-creating with God and dreaming and visioning. And he says, if you didn't have the fear of money, failure, or people, how would you dream? Dream that way. If you didn't have those fears of money, failure, or people, these are the kind of dreams that we want to be dreaming. So don't let past failures or fear of the unknown hold you back. And those roadblocks are simply just stepping stones to the life that you were meant to live. So this isn't about perfect goals or like perfect execution in these things. This is not like a checklist vision board. And it's also not a vision board where you're just slabbing pretty things on that you think are cool and then forgetting about it. If you guys are intentional about this, it will quite literally change your life the way that it has changed mine. So I want everybody to take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's explore what's possible when you dare to dream big and believe in the woman that you've been created to be. I can see all your guys' faces, but then I can't see my words. So this next part is called why goals fail without systems. Now, this is actually this part of the training that I added in is actually part of what I learned through a book that Carly had recommended for me to read that I'm going to go into next. But this was like a huge part in um, forward momentum in my life was realizing that it's not actually the goals that I need to focus on, it's the systems. And for those of you who share the same beliefs as me, it's been cool that as I've been reading my Bible, I've been seeing that God is actually a God of order. He does have order, and there is a divine. Sorry, I'm looking at Aurora. She's clapping at us. Um, God has a divine order to everything that he does. Um, and when we create systems that honor his design, structure, rest, and stewardship, we begin to reflect his nature in our lives daily. So it just naturally comes and we don't have to strive for it. So goals focus on outcomes like losing 10 pounds or 20 if you're like me after I had Vienna, reading 20 books. But without consistent systems, the excitement of goals fade. If we're being completely honest, that's why people make vision boards and then forget about them because you have the momentum and the excitement right when you do it. And then, if you're like me, like 24 hours later, a lot has happened in life and it's not in the front of your mind anymore. So, instead of losing 10 pounds, create a system of daily movement and balanced meals. Make sure that your structure actually reflects the goals that you're wanting to reach. Is that clicking with everybody? So then on the next one, this is one of my favorite parts because this book literally, if you drove with me in like 2023, 2024, you would have wanted to smack me in the head because I listened to this audiobook on repeat over and over and over again until it was part of me. So, the book called Atomic Habits, I'm not sharing all the stuff as a whole in here. I'm literally only sharing like one quote out of it. But the micro habits part literally changed my life. Um, I'm a person that has to be able to break things down into small steps, but I struggled to know how to do that. And this book really helped me do that. So, one of the things that he says is small, repeatable habits compound into big results. So, instead of committing to an hour of prayer every day, start with 5 minutes or after waking up or while you're brushing your teeth. That's another thing called habit stacking. Put one of your habits in with something that you already have to do or something that you enjoy doing. So for me, I bought a walking pad, and when I watch my nightly Love is Blind or trash TV, I walk on my walking pad. It's getting my habit that's going to move me towards where I want to go paired with something that I enjoy doing to just that get that consistency going, because then once you notice how you actually feel when you don't just lay on the couch for 4 hours a day and actually move your body, you'll naturally want to do it outside of when you're watching TV as well too. So we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. That's another quote from the book that is very profound when you think about it. Um, and kind of backwards from what society teaches us. I remember in all the Cosmopolitans when I was a kid, if you guys ever bought those, I did. It was a fight with my mom at the till every single time we went grocery shopping. But like they all talk about lose 20 pounds, how to look the sexiest for your crush of the week, and talks about these big goals. And that's kind of what society pushes, but it's actually backwards and doesn't actually move us towards where we're wanting to go. So, this is kind of an activity part. So if you're doing other things and you can't be a part of this, that's totally fine. But one thing that I wanted us to do before we move on is I just wanted to ask you guys if you have a goal like me, I just listed like four of them that I had in the past that struggled to achieve them. Have you guys ever had a goal that's maybe at the front of your mind that you set but then struggled to achieve? If you have one at the top of your mind, just feel free to like unmute and share it if you feel comfortable. Nobody wants to share their failures. Well,
I've got lots, but I'll share one. Definitely the healthy eating I strive to do on a regular basis and constantly fail at it.
yeah, that's a great place to start because if you're not aware of it, you can't change it. And that was one of mine too. That was partly why I started doing coaching with Carly was to get that extra support to move me in the way that I was wanting to go. But I think we've all at some point had a goal in that area that we failed to achieve. Thank you for sharing, Melissa.
I
And
just have a goal to advance my
yeah,
business right now, and I've had a hard time achieving that. And I'm also on like the weight loss and the, healthy eating train, all that jazz as well.
hmm Yeah, so a lot, and I mean, if we went around the room, a lot of them would probably be based around nutrition and fitness. Those seem to be the two that honestly just always come up and the two that I struggled with for quite a while. Um, can you guys think of, now that we kind of talked about like the micro habits and stuff like that, can you guys think of a possible system that could have supported that goal though? So for me, when I shared and I was talking about, I wanted to, after I had Vienna, it was just a big struggle to lose weight, if I'm being honest. It just kept going up and up and up. Um, And then when I started doing some coaching with Carly and realizing that I'm focusing on the goal, but I don't have a single system in place or actual belief around that that will actually move me towards that. The systems that I started having in place that I mentioned was one, it's fine for me to watch my TV in the evening. I don't have to give that up, but I can get a walking pad. And instead of sitting on my couch while I watch TV, I can walk on my walking pad while I watch TV. So that's kind of why I asked that was just to get your guys' brains kind of rolling in that direction of that it's not about the goal and that we should release any shame or guilt that we have around maybe not achieving the things that we would have wanted to achieve or not being where we think we should be. You're exactly where you need to be right now, and you're doing exactly what you need to do to get more aligned and move yourself further in the direction that you're wanting to go. So the next page is discovering your purpose. So your purpose isn't just what you do, it's actually who God has called you to be. Um, so on the first, and you guys have worksheets too, um, that go a lot more in depth about this, and we'll fill out some of them tonight as well too. But man, how do I move your guys' faces? There we go. Um, So, what kind of a way to figure out your purpose is looking at what unique talents or gifts that God has like given you, and you would know that He's given you them because they're in your heart and they're things that you naturally are maybe good at or naturally are like passionate about. For me, um, it is creativity. It's empowering women. It's being self-employed. Creativity has expressed itself in me being self-employed and having a beauty business and other things like that. What are three things that light your heart on fire? When you think about that, it'll really help you get going in the right direction of figuring out kind of what purpose you have. So, who has God placed in your life to love, serve, and disciple? So these can be friends, these can be um people that oftentimes will call you for help or ask you questions and stuff like that. And then after you have figured that out, write a one sentence purpose statement that I kind of gave a little bit of a structure there, but yours will be obviously your guys' blanks will be different. But I am called to blank, blank, blank by, and then your action. So I am called to serve and inspire others by empowering women through online workshops. That would be one of mine. Um, and then now the actual vision boarding part. So now if you guys have your worksheets, you can bring them out now. But let's get into why vision boarding. I believe that God's promises are available to us, but partnership is actually required to receive them. He's already written your story, but your agreement and faith and vision activate what He's already planned. Because He's given us free will, He's not going to override our choices. We get to live exactly the life that we choose to live. However, He invites us to co create and co labor with Him to see in faith what He already sees. It's actually kind of profound when you think about it. So, even God told Habakkuk in the book of Habakkuk to write down the vision so it could be seen. So God is a God of vision. And when you think about it, vision gives direction and endurance. When you write something down or you see it with your eyes, it becomes that much more real. So, visioning isn't about manifesting something into existence, it's about coming into agreement with what God already wants to do through your life. Um, Sorry, I was just checking if there was anything in the chat. So, where did the next one go? Oh, yeah, okay. So, have you ever noticed? I literally just said that. Have you ever noticed how writing something down or seeing it in front of you just makes it more real? Um, when we take time to create vision, whether that's through words, pictures, or journaling, which might be different for all of you. So I have found that I'm more of a hearer, which means that I write a lot of stuff down. I'm not a huge like drawer or artsy fartsy person, but I do like to journal and write stuff down. That's how I vision. But then bringing it into a vision board helps bring what I've written down to life. So whether that's through words, pictures, or journaling, we're not trying to force anything to happen. We're putting language and images to what's already stirring inside us. So, and I believe that those desires, the ones that bring peace and excitement, that's often how you can tell if you're going in the right direction because there will be peace and there will be excitement. It won't feel like you're trying to plow your way through a brick wall. Um, where was I? So vision boards just help us keep those things in front of us so we can walk toward them with faith. So now, the actual vision boarding part. How do you actually make one? How do you make one that's effective and actually moves you towards where you want to go? This is not your typical vision board. While traditional vision boards often focus on external goals that we talked about earlier, like wealth, career achievements, or material possessions, identity-based vision boarding goes deeper. It's all about aligning your life with who you were created to be and living out your God-given purpose. So when you focus on identity, on becoming the person you were created to be, everything else falls into place. So instead of saying, and this will be on step one, but instead of saying, I want to lose 10 pounds, you say, I am healthy, whole, and take care of the body that I've been given. You're aligning who you are with that. You are a healthy person. You do take care of your body. Instead of chasing goals for the sake of achievement, you'll create a vision that stems from the core of who you are and who you're becoming. So, before we step into the actual practical side of it, does anybody have any questions before we start? If nobody unmutes, then I'm just going to assume that nobody does. Okay, cool. Well, step one is reflecting and discovering your vision. So before you ever start trying to put anything on a vision board or even write down your I am statements or your actions that will move you towards there, you want to figure out and take time to thoughtfully answer these questions and use your responses to clarify your identity and the vision that you have for your life. So, These are kind of the wellness, finances, personal growth, family, fun and joy, and business and career are, I would say, the main pillars that any kind of vision boarding goes over. So there's questions for all of these. This is going to take you guys a bit of time, so we're not going to go over, we're not actually going to do this part of it. Um, but I encourage you guys, please don't step ahead to the second and third step just because they may seem easier, or get you closer to actually doing the vision board. There's a reason why this structure works, because it gets you a solid foundation to then move into the next one. They all build off of each other. So I'm excited for you guys to get into this and answer kind of these questions in the first one, that'll really help you in the next couple steps and building your vision board. So, once you're done that, then step two is writing it out. And so you're going to write out your I am statements because, again, we're not focusing on the end goal. We're focusing on does, who are you that would move you towards that? You need to align your identity with who that is. And you may not feel like it. You may, when I'll share maybe a little bit of a vulnerable story, but I had a life coach years ago, and we kind of did a similar thing, and she got me to write out I am statements. And when we were in the finances, I wrote out, I am aware of where my money goes. And then I wrote, I am confident with my finances. I felt icky writing that down because it just wasn't true. I didn't feel confident with where my money was, and I sure as heck had no clue where it was going. And it felt very backwards, and I felt like I was lying to myself. But when you think about it, if you're constantly saying, "Oh, I'm just horrible with my money. I have no idea where it's going," how is that ever going to help you change that if you are wanting to be someone who's confident with their finances and does know where their money's going? So, over time, with me daily saying those I am statements and aligning it and asking God to, help open my eyes to the areas that are out of alignment, because it is also God's designed for our life to be a good steward of what he's given us. And over time, now I can say confidently that I am aware of where my money is going and I am confident with my finances. But I share that with you guys so that hopefully you understand that some of your I am statements might feel like uncomfortable or might feel like you're lying to yourself. Um, but you're not. You're speaking identity over yourself, not lack and lies. So these would be the next one. You go through all of these, and I usually just do three. Three is more than enough. But they're crucial for vision boards and goal setting because they align your goals with your identity and beliefs. So these affirmations shape your mindset, they replace limiting beliefs, and they focus your energy on who God created you to be, rooted in truth and faith, and they motivate and guide you. Um, what you declare about yourself creates the foundation for growth and success. So then step three, and this is the last step, um, is identifying, you want to translate your vision into action. So identifying specific steps aligned with your I am statements turns belief into action. It provides clarity, keeps you consistent with your values, and builds momentum. Aligning actions with your identity ensures progress, is purposeful, and reflects God's promises. So when your action matches your identity, that's when transformation begins. So, an example, I have one of these that I've been doing these for 3 years now. So, this is one of the ones that I did 3 years ago. So, Vienna would have been like just turning one. Um, I wrote down in one of my I am statements, I wrote down, I am moving my body daily and feeling stronger every day. And then I put, I am confident and comfortable in my own skin. I definitely was not feeling that when I wrote those down. Um, but then I can't remember what both the actions was that I put down after that, but one of them was that um, I speak life-giving words over myself before I leave my house. That was actually one of my actions because my body had changed so much after I had Vienna. And I think the expectation that I had for it to, it just didn't. When people say your body bounces back, no, it does not. You have a completely different body after you have a kid, and you have to learn to love it. And it's okay to say, hey, I'm actually adjusting to this and I'm having a hard time. But part of me shifting that was my action of I'm speaking life-giving words over myself before I leave the house. So I would look at myself in the mirror and say these things. I love that not only because it's easy for us to say like I love my body because it carried my baby, but like um actually something physical about yourself. Like I actually really love my arms or I think I have beautiful eyes. Something that is about you. So you're going to go in and do your action statements after that. Is everybody following this? Does it making sense of why we do this process? Yeah? Okay, I see people shaking their heads. So then the next part is actually the fun part. So step 4, obviously you want to make this a daily and year-round practice. So reviewing it regularly. So set aside time each week or month to reflect on your vision board. Ask yourself, am I showing up as the person that I envisioned? Are my actions aligning with my identity and goals? And actually, more than that, are your words aligning with your identity and goals? You can't move forward if you're still speaking lack and doubt, and limiting beliefs over yourself. So use your vision board as a prompt for prayer. So asking God for guidance and strength and wisdom to continue becoming the person that He has already created you to be. And then adjust it as needed. So life changes and so might your vision. Revisit and revise your board as you grow and gain clarity about your purpose. So the fun part is actually making the vision board. So this, can you guys see my blue dot on the screen? Yeah, okay. So I have two different kinds of vision boards that I make. So once you guys have your step 1, 2, 3 done, then you actually know what you should be putting on your vision board. That's why it's backwards to do this part before you ever do the first 3 steps. Um, so I have two different ways that I've done vision boards in the past, and I like both of them. So this one on the bottom, I write all of my pillars on here, and then you guys can't really read it that well, but I have my I am statement under each pillar here. And then after the I am statement, you can see right there, I wrote down, I am aware of where my money goes. I remember writing that down and being like, I think I'm gonna quit on this coach because she's making me lie about myself. I'm glad I didn't. But then I wrote down like wellness. You can see that I have a picture of the gummies that I used to take. It was important that I just was taking things that fueled my body. So I had pictures of like the supplements that I was taking. And then in the personal growth, you can see that I have some books down here. Um, I would say this is more of a practical vision board. As I've grown over the years, I've kind of transitioned into doing them like this. So, and these are super cheap to do. You can get all this stuff at the dollar store. It's like very, very cheap to do. Now this one has been really fun because it's literally like a living vision board. So I'm going to show you guys. Um, Where'd my little, can you guys still see my blue dot or the mouse? Yeah, okay. So this one says travel to faraway places. So one of my um, things on my vision board was that I'm present with Vienna and I plan fun things for us. Like I went through a season kind of becoming a single mom where it kind of became very serious. I was like working all the time and it almost felt like irresponsible to plan fun things. And so as God was like kind of bringing these dreams back into my life and telling me like, no, it's actually part of my design for you to enjoy life and have fun, I started dreaming of like, what would I want to do with Vienna? What is fun? And I put these things on my vision board. I said I wanted to take 1 week off with Vienna in the summer and I wanted to go on a trip. I didn't even think I was going to end up doing those. I went on a trip to the Bahamas and then I also took a week off. Ended up being 2 weeks off, literally just to go camping with Vienna from my business. And so after that, you see we have the vision boarding dream, then we have written down what the goal is that we actually want to do. And then once you've achieved the goal, which I haven't put a picture up there yet, but you put a picture up there. So I'm going to put a picture up because my printer was broken. I didn't have one and then it broke. So I don't have it printed off yet. But you put a picture of you doing the thing that you dream to do. So it literally ends up becoming like a living vision board. And all of this stuff on here that I visioned ended up happening literally in 9 months. Like, is that not insane? These were dreams that I thought I put them on and I was like, oh, that seems kind of like, you know, ambitious. But I'll put it on there. We'll see what happens. And as you start speaking and aligning your words and beliefs with who you are created to be, rather than limiting beliefs and lack, you can move there much quicker than you think. So, does that make sense about the living vision board part? Shake your head if it does. Yeah, okay, cool. Um, those are kind of the two. And if you guys have different ways that you want to do them, then that's totally great too. But I know even one for this is a really, really cool one about finances. So I've had this on my vision board for 2 years now, was that I wanted to start investing. I, when I was pregnant with Vienna, I didn't want to be that single mom that was like living on the government's money, struggling to get by, working all the time and not being able to be present with her. And so it was really, really huge for me on my vision board to be able to start investing. I want to be able to help Vienna when she's graduated and with her own goals and visions and dreams. And through the wellness store, I've actually been able to start investing money that's excess outside of my regular income. So if you guys don't know, I know some of you already shop at the wellness store, and some of you are referring as well too, and you were invited by people that are referring. But if you guys didn't know, the wellness store is like an online store that you can get safer options for all of your household stuff that you'd already be getting on like Amazon, I was going to say Target, but we don't have one here. Amazon, Walmart, Costco, all of those main places, and it gets shipped right to your door. With that, you get a free referral code that you can share with people. I've done stuff in the past and it didn't really go where anywhere, so I didn't have huge expectations of it. But when I actually saw that the business structure is set up so much differently than other things that I had tried. And like everybody already needs to buy this stuff. It's not like you're selling like a luxury product or like a high-end collagen or something like that. This is literally all stuff that people are already buying. It ended up just coming natural to me that I started sharing it with people, and I'm not going to lie to you guys and tell you that I'm making like six figures. I'm definitely not. But that money from the wellness store that has consistently come in every month, within the last year, I was able to invest $5,000, which that might seem small, but $5,000 built up over, oh, someone just entered. Let me grab my calculator. $5,000 built up over 5,000 times 10 years, that's $50,000, not even including how it rises with whatever they're investing it into. So the little stuff actually does matter. And I feel like people always have, again, they have these big like goals of like, you can make six figures, you can do this, you can do that. What if you just needed like $300 a month to then invest into your future and it would consistently build over time? That's what I love about the wellness store. It's been consistent for me. So again, too, if you guys have certain financial goals, reach out to the person that invited you if they are someone that is referring for Melaleuca and get more info about that, because it literally is something that people are already buying, and it will help move you towards your financial goals without you even realizing it. Like, I met with my financial advisor and was shocked that I had tried in my own strength to do that in my bank account for years. But when it's just automatically going every month, You don't notice it and you have to account for it because it's already going out. But the wellness store has allowed me to have that excess income coming in without it coming out of like my regular income. So, and I know so many more of you have awesome stories about how it has benefited you. But outside of that, if you guys don't know who I am or where to find me, these are the places that you can find me. If you want to find me on Instagram and you haven't already, it's Little Chelso. I should probably update that. But I feel like I've just had it for so long that it's part of who I am now. And I'm like, I'll be Little Chelso when I'm 90. But I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm going to stop recording it now. Um, and then stay on to answer any questions that people have. I know some people hopped in